You're good now.
All right, here we go again. Yeah, I was running my battery off. I was having my battery low. So I've plugged it into the wall again. So I'm ready to talk more about this. So let me just finish and to make the point, the punchline with the whole story. So let me tell you who has been the first one who officially described and who was talking about the real girls, die vrije Damen, and about the Nazi prototypes of the flying saucers, being die Jenseitsflugmaschinen. It was the first one who described them was the rocket scientist. And check out, the writer of the sci-fi literature named Willy Ley,
Yeah.
The Khazar as well. So Ley was their contemporary, in any way. He was, living the same era, like the real girls who, and Levy was the guy who was spending his time and he was hanging out with the engineer Werner von Braun, the name that you're familiar with, right?
What's the name again?
Werner von Braun.
Yeah, that was the German nuclear physicist, scientist. Yeah, I know him.
And he was a Khazar by origins. It's worthy of mentioning because the whole story of Khazars is deeply enrooted and involved inside the core, the marrow of the whole story. So later on we will talk, we'll have several at least lectures about Khazars as well. Nice. So now Werner von Braun was called the naughty boy of the
naughty boy.
Of the American,
Borschtechko.
The American rocket, department. He was planning to send the first rockets, containing posts from Berlin to New York City.
Oh, cool.
And later on, they realized that it can be practically used for completely another purpose, namely for bombing. So and Willy Lane, von Braun's acquaintance, was very much induced into the secret labor of the Nazi scientists, and therefore his story is considered as credible. That therefore we trust his story. So the whole Vril society has started and commenced the production of the powerful space technology, and according to their ideas have been created and tested, were created officially and tested, firstly, the first models were done, the first models of the several prototypes of flying vehicles, which were having a shape of a disc. Right. They were looking like, like two plates, that have been put, onto each other, So that's the real outlook of those models, right? Of the flying saucers, the Jenseitsflugmaschinen. So Maria Osric was claiming that she is in a constant telepathic contact with the aliens from the extraterrestrial, meaning from the galaxy of Aldebaran, who have visited the Earth in the long distant past and who settled down in the ancient Sumerian land. So do you make the connection now? She claimed that the language that she spoke with the inhabitants of Aldebaran and was Sumerian. The ancestral language of the origins of Armenian as well. So that's yours. That's inherited. That's deeply enrooted in your DNA structure, yours as well, in your marrow. So so many years later, a similar story of the extraterrestrials who settled down in the old, ancient Sumerian land has been told by the creators and authors of voluminous pseudo histories, the people like Erich von Däniken, Zechariah Sitchin, and David Icke. Now, Luke and I also talk a lot about those people,
Cool.
Just let me make the conclusion, let me make my point with a few facts, because this is the podcast which occupies by languages and history, right? So let me make
historia. That's why it's called Posao Jezike Historia.
Die Sprachen und die Geschichte. So let me tell you the etymological origins of the word vril. Vril, the name vril has its origins in the ancient Sumerian two words, vri and il, which can be translated as divine, divine, so allegedly the society was organizing the exercises of focusing and mental concentration with purpose, the awakening of the real energy, and the arrangement of the space flight, and in German it's called the Raumflug. Space flight is called the Raumflug. Yeah, you told me that you would like to pursue to learn German.
Yeah, not only German, Bulgarian, Немецкий и bulgarski.
Well, those two do not necessarily have to be considered as the fascist languages, right?
Yeah. They're not really fascist. They're not really
fascist countries.
Not anymore.
Yeah. But the whole point of fascism is naturally inherited in the very DNA of the human being, the human animal. So, those exercises of mental focusing, with purpose of awakening the real energy.
Yeah.
We're having the purpose to arrange the space flights, the Raumflug, to the system of Aldebaran. Right. So, in order to be able to achieve that goal, the real society had joined, with the secret society of the Tule Gesellschaft, and with the followers of the Black Stone, namely the DHSS, that's a separate order, in order to finance an ambitious program, which would mean the construction of an interdimensional flying machine based on the achievements on two things: the physical science of a very high level, which was conveyed to the members of the society by the aliens from Aldebaran. So for a very brief period of only 20 years, the advancement of technical wonders that came to existence according to the ideas of the real society, is truly fascinating, So they have achieved the great, ambitious, advanced, and developing, of the flying saucers and their rails inside the society of rail within only 20 years. Can you imagine that?
Yeah.
So it was the year of 1922, and it was the city of Munich, when the two societies, the Thule and Brill, had done the construction of the first German flying disc. JMF.
So in the year 1922, the first German disc was designed, and that was also when Soviet Union was created too.
Oh yeah, and that's not in vain. That's not just by case. In German, it's spelled das ist buchstabiert, that is .mf, or Jenseitsflugmaschinen, as I already said.
Oh, okay.
Or a machine from the other side by definition, the other world. Jenseits means the other side. Flug means flying, machine, it's the machine. So the machine, which has been examined and researched and tested within the next few years in an air tunnel, all right? So the leader of this project was Winfried Otto Schumann from the Technical University of Munich, the same one who had seen the first sketches and drawings of Maria Osric back in the day when she was 17. You remember? Yeah. So, and everything was suddenly seized in 1924 when the flying saucers, the JMF machines, have been decomposed and transferred to the Messerschmitt factory in Augsburg, where it has been put into storage for the purpose of further research. And the story with the Messerschmitt, airplanes, the Messerschmitt Flugzeuge, when they wanted to hide the first prototype of the Messerschmitt airplane, the aircraft, they have exposed that in the middle of the factory. So they have hidden it better than anything else because they've chosen to expose it to the publicity, to the eyes of the crowd in the center of the space of the room. So that's the punchline. If you want to hide something, the best way to do that is to expose it.
Yeah.
In front of the millions.
Expose the truth.
So yeah, that's what I learned from them. So and based on the baseline of their research, it was Professor Schumann who developed an anti-gravitational, the levitational unit, which he named Schumann München, or the SM levitator. So after the moment when Hitler rose to prominence and came on the forehead of the German state in 1933, as you know,
yes,
both of the societies, Rill and Tula, have been allegedly given the means, from the state, from the spatial resources, in the form of subvention. They were giving the subvention. They were supplying them with the money, and those money, financial supplies, were meant for the development of the program of the construction of spacecraft capable for the interplanetary flights. And the second purpose was the construction of a space, the second purpose was the elaboration of the flying gadget, which could be used for military purposes. They wanted to invade the Soviet Union as well as the rest of the Europe. Yeah.
Yeah, they invaded it on June 22nd, 1941. So that was the day when they attacked.
Sorry, can you say it again?
On June 22nd, 1941, that was the day they attacked Soviet.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. So this is the exact moment when the production of a brand new series of Rotan flyers, or if abbreviated, the RFZ flying machines, had begun. The Germans were calling it the FFZ, the Rundflugzeuge.
Yeah.
Rund means the Rotan, and it had begun in 1937 after the Vril Society bought the land in the vicinity of Arado Brandenburg fabric of airplanes. And now you've probably heard about that fabric.
Yeah.
So the RFZ discs, the models 1, 2, 3, 4, and 6. I'm watching the pictures of them right now. Have been those models have been tested in the very core of the organization of Real Society, while Tula was having aid from the special technical units of the SS, and that unit was led by a genius scientist whose name was Victor Schauberger. And you later found out that he was making the experiments with water, you know?
Oh, he was doing experiments with water?
Oh yeah, before the Japanese had started the same. So that was the hydraulic experiments, but those are the really fascinating experiments. And he never met Tesla. Those two
like
were never
scientist?
introduced to each other. Yeah,
Nazi scientist.
it's not recorded at least.
Oh.
So and the Victor, Schauberger was a genius. So the section known under the name of the EP4 unit, was in charge for development of the new alternative forms of energy, like Brill was. So that was located in a little town of Hauneburg, and there was the place where the Tula Society was working on development of a special anti-gravity unit known, which was known since 1935 only by its name Hauneburg. Have you ever heard about Hauneburg?
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. Okay, so you're hearing about it now. So during the production, this flying gadget has been given the name Hauneburg Gerät, the Hauneburg gadget. But check this, in 1939, this title has been shortened to Hauneburg only after finishing the work on its motor, the Triebwerk, the fuel model, right?
No.
So
no.
Yeah, and there is one connection with Tesla that you might be interested in.
Yeah.
So
there's a lot of debate and discussion about Tesla's nationality, whether he was a Serb or Croatian, because he was born in Croatia in 1856.
Can you please say it again and a little bit more louder?
Okay. So what I was saying is that there's a lot of debate and discussion about Tesla's nationality, if he was a Serb or Croatian. Ako on je bio Hrvatski ili Srpski, Serbian. There's a lot of discussion and debate about his nationality.
Pa čekaj, ako je Hrvat, ako bi bio Hrvat, onda i Pop Đujić Hrvat, majko mu. Pop Momčilo Đujić, onda i on Hrvat, onda su svi dalmatinski četnici Hrvati, a nije tako. Pa čekaj, moglo da bude rođen, mogla je Đuka da odi na brod, na Atlantik recimo, tada su išli ljudi iz Dalmacije, iz Splita, iz Dubrovnika za Ameriku, pa moglo je da bude rođen na brodu, na Atlantskom okeanu, pa šta je onda, Atlantiđanin? Tesla was a Serb, definitely. It's been proved by his DNA. But I am,
a Serb from Croatia.
Yeah, I represent an era of no nationalities, no patriotic feelings, no things like that, no states, no religion, just like it's been described in John Lennon's song Imagine. And those are exactly the Tesla's ideas.
Mm-hmm.
He said the planetary peace, the global state of peace, can be achieved and attained only by the conscious melting of the races. And after the erasure of the patriotic feelings, which are the cause of the warfare and blood leaking, there will be the era of peace that will come, that will occur as a consequence. So it's all about the consciousness. It's irrelevant whether Tesla was a Serb or something else.
Yeah. Because
he was an archaic being who came on the Terra planet. He was incarnated in order to achieve the grand task, which means to change, to switch the paradigm of the technological moment. The momentum.
Remember reading an
article. To uplift the human existence in a higher level. Yeah, tell me.
I actually remember reading an article on Wikipedia, And it said that Tesla's birthplace, his house, was destroyed during the Yugoslav wars in the 90s. It was Gradanski rat u bivšoj Jugoslaviji.
Znam, bio sam tamo, ta kuća je uništena, ta originalna kuća gde su Đuka, odnosno Georgina i Milutin njega začeli, gde se on rodio. Ta kuća je uništena od Ustaša, u stvari domobrana. A to nisu one izvorne Ustaše, o čemu smo govorili. Ali kuća je obnovljena. The house was restored, and renewed. So
After the
it was
wars, the Civil War.
built up again. So I've been there. It was a museum.
Cool.
It's now the museum. So I just want to tell you that the Thule Triebwerk was a revolutionary EMG motor, the electromagnetic gravitational motor, also known under the title of Tachyonator 7.
Okay.
So it was using a fuel of a type of fuel of a modified Hans Colette magneto apparatus, which is a sort of a gravitational battery which uses the free energy, right?
Yeah,
that's the
right.
Tesla's concept. Transformed into a converter which was paired, coupled with the Van de Graaff's wave generator and Marconi's dynamo machine. And that's a rotating reservoir, loaded by warmed up mercury. Okay, that's the Marconi's dynamo. So and it's based on the Graham's dynamo machine. So when it's activated, the Triebwerk was continuously able to produce a strong electromagnetic field, which was having its impact on gravity. So that's the point. That's the point with those anti-gravity machines. So also the rotational field was putting the dynamo machine in motion, which as a consequence was leading to diminishing of the mass on the extremely large number of turns, right?
That's right.
So, okay, so, and one more thing, in 1941, the Vril Society had developed their own version of Triebwerk under the name, the mark of RFZ7, which has been later renamed to Vril 1 Hunter, Vril 1 Jäger.
Now 41, Now 41 was the time when Yugoslavia was invaded.
Yeah, the military strike on Yugoslavia.
Yeah, Nazis
invasion
of Yugoslavia. Yeah.
Well, yeah, it's been April the 6th. It was yesterday. It was yesterday, so we can briefly mention, take a brief look upon that subject. But I would just like to. It's a very very good moment. Yeah, it's very good that you mentioned 1941.
Yeah.
Because it's strictly connected to the story. Because after 1941, Hitler, has strictly forbade, the secret societies,
And all of Europe was under his control by 1941.
Yeah, and due to that event, the two societies, namely the Tula and Vril societies, were officially conjoined to the SS unit E4. It's worthy of mentioning. So in that period, Vril has become known as the chain, the chain society, die Kette in Deutsch, which referred to the mental connection among their members. The Kette, the Kette, the chain means the mental relationship between me and you right now.
Odnosti do mene I ja.
Yeah, lanac.
Yeah.
The chain, yeah, of course. So also, Vril was having relations with Wilhelm Canaris, you know, he was the chief commander of the German military intelligence service, meaning Abwehr, you know, Abwehr, just like, you know, the Ahnenerbe,
Right.
which represented the SS Bureau in charge for the occult, and was intensively collaborating with the engineers from Arad, you know. So both types of discs, you know, the one by Tula and Brill were in the production in period between 1931 and 45. So Tula produced a series of Hanebu 1 and 2 and 3 of large discs capable for the interdimensional flights. So this is the crucial point of our story. Hold on. Yeah, stop yawning, because this is the crucial point. I've got to tell to our audience, you know, the point. So until 1940, no, I'm joking. You can yawn whenever you want. This is your show as well. So
Yeah.
you know, we're not showing that we're in charge. We're both in charge here. You know, one cannot deal without each other, and vice versa. So until 1944, a new prototype has been already, produced, and it was the model called, Brill 7, der Geist, Brill 7, or the Ghost, Duch, a desk capable for
Duch.
Der Geist.
Der Geist.
Der Geist, yeah.
Man,
it's similar to Ghost. And it was a disc, capable for the interdimensional flights, and also a huge cylindrical mother spaceship. The mother spacecraft, mothership, measuring 139 meters of length. Can you imagine that? It's a large.
Yeah, that's pretty large.
Large craft, that's definite, and it was known under the name Andromeda Gerät, Andromeda, right. Or Andromeda gadget, right? So a special unit for the air military service, meaning the Luftwaffe,
yeah, I know that.
Yeah, and entitled the Special Bureau 13, Sonderbüro 13, anyway, has been formed with a task to examine the strange air phenomena above the Reich territory, right?
Yeah.
But officially, it was having a task to cover up all the reports on flying discs and flying cigars,
Yeah, that had a significant impact on Germany, the flying.
Exactly, genau. And so it was December 1944 when a German pilot who was flying, on the Messerschmitt 262, ME-262, has had an encounter with one of the Andromeda flyers and reported on it to his superiors. So the Special Bureau 13 immediately denied any kind of existence of such like flyer. So doesn't that resemble to the U.S. government and the military, the highest court, military courts, when they deny any kind of an encounter with a flying saucer? But that was before the FBI has taken away the veil and secrecy from that topic. So I have the original scriptures and data and documents where the name of Bob Lazar is also deeply involved. So I have it personally. So it's been officially unveiled, and it's been uncovered. And we know a lot about the flying saucers and the encounters with. So I want to tell you that there's been a project which is called the Vril Magical Eye, which was a secret Nazi gadget for espionage, or for the espionage, which was allegedly developed in 1945, but it's not proved. So there are rumors. Yeah, there are rumors that the engineer Rolf Engel, who was a member of RIL, that he developed a miniature electromagnetic gravitational motor and built it inside the construction of an ellipsoid body made of light steel, size of a watermelon. So it's not being scientifically proved, but but the body was having an antenna, for receiving, a tiny TV camera injected inside, a weapon, and a telescope hand, which has which on one of his sides was having one more camera and a microphone like this one here. So allegedly, in case says that it was necessary, the magical eye could perish and to reappear. So such like flying gadgets would have a very wide application in military service, which would encompass the air scouting, protection of the submarines, in the open sea, and especially espionage actions, Yeah. So while the main body of the flyer could remain invisible, a telescopic hand could put a camera and the microphone into our dimension in order to collect the necessary data, the information. So at the beginning of 1945, the already mentioned Rolf Engel has allegedly conducted the laboratory research of the facility for this flyer and dedicated himself to the issue of miniaturization of television equipment. So so in that time the German rocket,
V2. That's what they were
Sorry?
called. The rockets that Germany had, they were called V2 rockets.
It was called, the one that I'm talking about was called HS293D. And it was having the TV induction, the TV plug-in, jack, and also the first prototypes of the composite flyers have been developed also. So one of them was named Argus AS292, and unmanned target, right?
Yeah.
So with no crew, with no man crew inside, and this has been transformed into a flyer on remote control, the Tesla's patent, equipped by cameras like this now.
Yeah.
So these flyers have passed unnoticed, the unbemerkte Objekte, by the enemies, unnoticed by the enemies, and none of them was crashed down until the end of the war. So what is it telling you about that those were the seriously produced flying gadgets by serious scientists
of Nazi Germany?
Yeah, so there was a special problem in development of the magical eye, and it was represented by the by the interdimensional traveling and the invisibility.
Yeah.
Because there are no evidences that a functional prototype of this flyer has ever been constructed. I'm just telling you about the alleged information. It hasn't been proved by the officials. So, I mean, it doesn't have to be, but the acclamation about its ability for the interdimensional voyage are similar to the acclamation of Brill that they achieved the possibility of interdimensional flights with their flying discs and the machine from another world. So
now flying machines, they were very popular then, but now I don't know if it's still very popular to this day.
Well, each one of those gadgets and its production of the machinery has its own renaissance. So there are always the UFO mania in the U.S. especially. I know that as an American because it's just a matter of time when they will jump off, and pop up, whether It is about the gadgets that are made on the Earth's surface and fabrics, or in Shambhala or Agartha, which is still the Earth, or some that have come, some that came out from another solar system. So I want to say that due to the fast advancement, of the allies during the war, real society was having planned to transfer the technology into the bases beyond Europe, especially into a secret military base camp 211 on the Antarctica, and it's still located there now.
Saveznici je Amerika, Velika Britanije I Sovjetski savez.
Oh yeah, exactly. But they have decided to switch it to the Antarctica. So beside the above mentioned, the plan of evacuation was predicting also the evacuation of mediums on the Andromeda, stellar system.
Yeah.
Not the Aldebaran, but the Andromeda, with help of the interdimensional flights. So this is the crucial part, because this is how probably Maria Osric has ended her business on the Earth, because she didn't die on the usual way. This is the crucial point. Maybe we should, Arno, leave it for another show.
So what happened to Maria Osric after the war and after the collapse of Nazi Germany? Nakon Svetski rad, nakon Drugi Svetski rad.
How did she end up?
Like after war and after the fall of Nazism, yeah.
Well, yeah. Well, I'm going to tell you that the mysterious ending of Maria Osric came it occurred at March 18th, 1945.
45.
Meaning that she was only 50-year-old.
So she was born.
Woman,
so she was born in 1895.
95, October 31 in Vienna.
1895 godina, rođena u Zagreb, Hrvatska.
Ne 2000, ne 2000, nego 1895. Ne 2000.
Yeah. And then on umori u 2445 godina. She died in 1945.
Yeah, she was 50 years old in 1945. So at that time, Maria she had an encounter with her patron and mentor, her protector, Winfried Otto Schumann, and March 15, the same year. So 3 days before. So he gave her a package with a whole documentation of German the real flyers,
Yeah.
So they parted in tears. They were crying, on each other's shoulders, cheek to cheek. So the tears were just coursing down their cheeks. And Maria was ready to go on a journey beyond the planet Earth. This is to make a very long story short. Together with the other girls from the real society, I ain't sure about whether all of the 4 ones.
So she basically died.
Parted with her.
Yeah.
But 3 of them certainly parted with her.
So she basically died when Nazi Germany was coming to an end.
Oh yeah, there are at least 2 CIA versions of the end of the story. Meaning, according to one, she left. She left the Earth because, of course, their aim was to reach the solar system Alpha Centauri and the constellation of Aldebaran, where she was deriving from. And Maria was deeply assured that the aliens will accept them, and she succeeded to convince her girlfriends in that. on Saturday, March 17, 1945, her group went to the hangars of the fabric for the Messerschmitt facilities in Augsburg for the last time. So a day later, the girls embarked on Vril 7 model and flew off from the planet. So the date of March 11, 1945, when she was in Vienna, Maria left her last message. And she wrote in a piece of paper the last message, which says, Niemand bleibt hier, which means nobody stays here. Nobody will remain here in this dimension, meaning. So the mysterious disappearance of Maria Osric and the story about her, about her last travel by a flying saucer seem unreal, and they seem impossible to the majority of our audience. I'm convinced, but the explorers of the conspiracy theories from the Spanish site, claim that Maria did not end her life in such a way, but instead that she has been kidnapped by the American Secret Service. So probably the CIA, or better, the CIA has kidnapped her. And according to the second edition, right, the revision of the event, and she has been allegedly taken to the US, where she got her new identity, as it always happens. And in reverse, she unveiled the confidential information about the Vril Society and the communication with Nikola Tesla.
Cool.
So it is claimed that she married a rich man over there, overseas, and that she had a daughter which she conceived with him, and the daughter's name was Yolanda Rafa. So there are two versions of her disappearance.
Either she left the Earth by going on a the spinning thing, I forget what it's called. This Kagodakaje. How to say?
Yeah, either she, according to one version, she left the planet Earth and she reached the Aldebaran stellar system, which I am standing for.
Yeah.
Or she went to the US,
Okay.
Rather a terrestrial version of it. But I know, since I know where she derived from, I know where she possibly went to. But I want to unveil the big secret to our audience.
That's what I was
here.
trying to say. So
Sorry?
she either left the Earth by going on a solar spinner or she either died, or what happened?
Well, either she died in the US, being a mother, after she gave the birth to her offspring, to a child, a toddler named Yolanda Rafa. Either she has continued to, she has continued her life and physical body where she is living today in the Aldebaran stellar system, because they don't have the necessity to die. Yeah, it's a whole lot different story. I will tell you later on how the Aldebaran inhabitants have conveyed the information about their life and social structures on the solar system to Maria Osric, and via her, she conveyed the information to the highest ranked officers of the Nazi Party. So this is how the information came to me.
So towards the end of Hitler's life, as you said, it was in March 1945. So she fled the United States as the Soviet or the Red Army was approaching Germany, and the Allies were approaching Germany, and she fled the United States. And how many she had kids? Ona ye imali deca. How many kids she had?
Maria.
Huh?
Maria. Are you
Maria,
asking me about Maria? Well,
Maria.
according to the official information, the data provided to me by CIA, she was only have one child. She gave birth to only one daughter named Yolanda Rafa. Well, let me tell you something. Let me tell you, I read the original scripture, the CIA documents, documentation about her Maria Osric file. And I got it from my resources. So I want to tell you that the extraterrestrial civilizations and their members fly through the universe. Now, some trajectories are commercialized. Some are just for the training purposes, or just to make an adventure, or something else, to make an excursion. And some are for the energetic purposes, which I call the business purposes. But how do they do that? They switch the space-time coordinates, or rather they cut off through the space-time continuum, making the whirlpools instantly. So they teleport. They teleport. They disappear here and they reappear over there. So they do a cut through the space-time continuum. So in order to reach the Pleiad system, or Aldebaran, or Andromeda, or any other system, and the constant moment of the T0, meaning the constant present time, we don't have to use any fuel. That's not even the ether. It's anything. It isn't anything like that. The only thing we have to do is to change, to switch the space-time coordinates. We can instantly shift our position and leave here and reappear there. Yeah. So to make the conclusion for our show, if the technology of the Nazi Khazar SS party members was having the same performances and prerogatives as the already mentioned extraterrestrial gadgets that I already told you about, the conclusion is that certainly, yes, she could fly there all along with her girlfriends. So I don't want to be taken as a lunatic, because this is a serious podcast. I don't give a shit about the thinking of anybody. Anyway, I know what am I talking about. So if I wasn't present there, I can enter into the dhyana state, of meditation in order to check it out, because it's possible. I will explain it later on with you and with Luke, of course. Okay, I'm open. Willing to. But if they had the technology equal to the performances and abilities of the extraterrestrial technology, she could switch and she could go there. So that's the conclusion, my friend. And this is how Maria Osric ended up her life. So it's left to our audience. Let them make their own conclusion.
So she left Germany and went to the United States.
Oh yeah, you can say that she left Germany because she left from Vienna, aus Wien, and Austria, the Österreich, was belonged to Germany, as a part of the Third Reich. Yeah. So all of the whole subject that we just talked about.
Yes.
All of the subject of the discussion between you and me has been described in our book entitled Nikola Tesla, Third Reich and the Extraterrestrials.
Nikola Tesla.
In Germany,
Nikola Tesla и
Treći Reich и Vanzemaljci. Or in German it would be Nikola Tesla, der Dritten Reich und die Außerordentliche, which is your favorite word,
I'm really motivated to learn German.
Are you getting goosebumps? Are you getting goosebumps when I mention German?
No, I'm not getting goosebumps at all. I want to pursue it sometime in the future, because it's really spoken. It's spoken like it's largely spoken throughout. and a lot of people take it as a second language almost.
Hey, did you know we're not gonna get our audience pissed off due to the often and frequent mentioning of German origins, the German original words, but they love it. Did you know?
Yeah.
Did you know that during the situation of creating the American Congress, according to the votes, according to the voting, the official election, at the assembly of the first, American Congress, assembly, it was just one vote that has decided the English language to be the official language of the U.S. Congress.
Yeah.
And that it won against German. So it was just a matter of case, whether the official language for usage in American Congress would be German or English. Just one vote. Did you know that?
No, I didn't. Ne znam to.
Evo sad znaš. So the official language used for conversation in the U.S. Congress could also be German.
Cool.
Yeah. And nevertheless, since this is the podcast which
includes
occupies with languages and history, let's say that German and English share the same branch that they derive.
Oh, because I know why. Because it's Germanic languages.
Germanic languages.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Exactly.
And the western part of that branch that stems from the same trunk is the Anglo-Saxonian languages, where English is the dominant one.
Yeah.
But that is the Germanic trunk, of course.
Oh.
And you go towards the north, you've got Norwegian and its derivatives like Danish or Swedish and Icelandic, the Viking idiom and so on.
Yeah.
And you've got the Celtic branch. That's another story. Like the Welsh, Simraig, And since you're interested in Serbian language, you speak better and better each day.
Yeah.
As an interlocutor, I have to notice that and to admit that.
My plan is to focus on Serbian first.
Yeah, I know.
Before I learn the other languages like Russian, Armenian, Bulgarian, German.
Yeah.
And possibly
as a one who's an overwhelmed and zealous apprentice of Serbian language, I will have to speak with you more about, if you want, of course, more about the Celtic. The Celtic relations with Serbian original language and the Serbian origins of the Celtic languages.
Cool.
Because the Celtic people, the Celts were inhabiting this area of the Balkan Peninsula, where I will be for a brief period of time before I part.
Yeah, and I think it's going to be very easy for me in the future to learn like Bulgarian and Russian because they're similar to each other. Like,
of course.
Like,
why not?
Because like ne razumem na bulgarskom. Ja ne razbiram.
Da, a srpski jezik je između ta tri koja si sad pomenuo najlakši, to mogu da kažem kao filolog, i da kažem jednostavniji za učenje, možda i najlepši. Engels je jednom pisao Marksu, zvao ga je dragi satano. On se šalio. Man gelibte Satan, šalio se, zezao ga i kaže, moj dragi satano, moram da ti kažem da učim srpski jezik, počeo sam da ga učim, kao i ti sad, i mogu da ti kažem da je među svim slovenskim jezicima najjednostavniji za učenje.
Hrvatski i srpski su isto jezik, ali imaju različiti reč.
Pa da, recimo, nazivi za mesece su drugačiji, recimo. Ali tu su Hrvati bolje sačuvali srpski jezik od samih Srba, recimo, ispravljenije reći travanj, ne znam, i tako dalje, studeni, prosinac, nego September, October, što je to preuzeto iz latinskog jezika, protiv čega ja nemam ništa protiv.
I što se bosnjanski jezik?
Da li postoji bosanski jezik?
Da.
Po meni ne postoji. Hrvatski jezik priznajem, ili srpsko-hrvatski, hrvatsko-srpski, kao što portugalski i španski postoji, ili ukrajinski i ruski, to priznajem. Ali bosanski jezik ne priznajem, zato što je to mešavina, jedan derivat srpskog jezika ili srpsko-hrvatskog, ajde da kažem. Kao što ne mogu da priznam ni crnogorski jezik. Kakav je sad to jezik? Mislim, bazovi su šće, na primjer. Pa jesi li šćeo, umjesto jesi li hteo? Pa to nije jezik. Sutra kad ode Vojvodina, koja ima, mislim, još od Josipa Jure, još Trosmajera svoje, da kažem, prava i probleme, pa čekaj, bit će vojvođanski jezik, jel? Pa kakav je to jezik onda? Nikakav. Pa sutra kad se podeli Srbija na resore i na oblasti, pa čekaj svaka, onda će Šumadija imati svoj jezik, pa kakav je to jezik? Za Boga. Znaš, tako da ne može baš tako. Znaš, ne možemo formirati jezik tek tako, to mi filolozi odlično znamo. Na osnovu odcepljene teritorije, mislim.
And it's funny because you described like the languages I want to pursue in the future, kao bulgarski i njemački, nije faktički jezike.
A nisu faktički jezici, jel?
Da.
Pa da, makedonski je jedna vrsta, da kažem, iskvarene južne varijante srpskog narečja, to kosovsko-pomoravskog dijalekta, koji nema problem sa padežima. Macedonian idiom or dialect or a language, if you want to put it better, it doesn't have any problem with the cases.
Right.
You know, it doesn't use the 7 cases like Serbian does.
Right.
You know, ali srpski je jako lak jezik, samo treba naučiti padeže i sve će biti u redu. Evo, kao ja što govorim ovako. Može, sve može. Kažu najteži jezik. Kako najteži? Gluposti. Pa samo poslušaj, recimo, mongolski halka jezik ili ne znam. Pa gruzijski je teži od srpskog mnogo. Polski je teži mnogo. Mađarski, grčki, srpski je najlakši jezik.
Definitivno. Mađarski jezik je veoma težak.
Pa dobro, ja govorim mađarski jezik do izvesne granice. Nem beszélek magyarul nyelven, csak egy kicsit. Nem értek magyarul. Ja govorim mađarski do izvesne granice. Moja baba je govorila, bila je polumađarica, pa je govorila mađarski odlično. Tako da sam ja došao iz stepe, iz zapadnog Sibira, sa Hazarima i Mađarima.
A šta je se o rumanskom?
Sorry?
A šta je se o rumanskom? Romanian.
A dobro, i to sam učio sa mormonima u Americi, znaš, i rumunski, i albanski, i mađarski, i tako. Ali nemaš ni vremena za sve, mislim, znaš. Moj dan isto traje koliko i tvoj za sada, dok ne produžimo broj časova u danu. Sad, ili dok ne izmenimo sebe hemijski, da ne moramo da spavam, pomoću, onda mogu naučiti sve, znaš. Ja koristim ove Tesla metode, nije bitno kako se zove. Oni su monetizovali i upotrebili Teslino ime, a ti znaš da sve što koristi Teslino ime je zlato. Oni su napravili pod Teslinim imenom metode mnemotehničke metode za brzo pamćenje, čitanje i učenje i tako zato ja mogu to što mogu da radim. Eto, tako da ću moći, ja mogu bilo koji jezik da naučim za relativno kratko vreme. Znaš. I tako, dobro, prijatelju moj, je li to sve za danas? Šta kažeš ti?
Što?
Pa ne, evo ćemo li da recimo sad ovde stanemo, pa možemo sutra da nastavimo ako hoćeš ili ovih dana.
Da, sutra.
Pa da, sutra ili preko sutra.
Da.
morgen oder übermorgen.
Good morning.
Da, sutra, da. Morgen je sutra isto, a übermorgen je sutra, posle sutra, preko sutra.
Dobro. So yeah, we can do one tomorrow.
Yeah,
Dobro.
no problem. I'm always here for you, my friend.
Dobro. To je sjajno. A kako da kaže, trying to think what else. Good. Kako da kaže laku noć na njemačkom? Ne znam.
Guten Abend. Gute Nacht. Gute Nacht. Guten Abend, dobro večer. Gute Nacht. Sorry, I'm tired. Gute Nacht.
Ti si umoran.
Yeah, I'm a little bit tired. Ich bin ein wenig müde. Ja sam malo umoran.
Malo umoran, da. Tako je.
Aber nur ein wenig. Malo samo. Ne mnogo. A znaš kako se na gruzijskom kaže laku noć?
Gruzinski, I don't know Georgian, so.
Amen Shvidobisa. Yeah, it's
That's
totally different. It's completely different from any other European one.
Yeah.
Okay, my friend, thank you.
Nema problema.
Laku noć i vidimo se sutra.
Laku noć i vidimo se sutra.
I obavesti me kad si uploadova na YouTube.
Da, moj YouTube kanal, da.
Yeah, both of the last shows. I mean, that's only one.
Dve epizode, da.
Yeah. Conjoined into one song, into single one. All right.
Da,
All right, thank you, my friend.
I jedva čekam. Doviđenja.
Ja se radujem, prijatelju, punog srca, jedva čekam da vidimo emisiju i da se vidimo ponovo.
Doviđenja.
Ok, doviđenja. Ćao, prijatelji moji.
Thank you.